Sir, would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and DOC number.
Yes, ma'am. Kindly. My name is William Glaub. My DOC number is 408035.
Yes, sir, Mr. Glove. We are, let me just read some information into the record. You are classified as a fourth felony offender, currently serving a 15-year sentence. You had illegal possession of stolen things and theft of goods. You were sentenced initially in 2019, but you were revoked. You were afforded supervision and were revoked. Your parole eligibility was December 3rd, 2021. You have a good time date, which has been adjusted to October 24th of 2030. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. This is a rehearing, so you're familiar with the process. Your case has been assigned to Mr. Roche. I'm going to turn it over to him.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, Mr. Glaub. How are
Good
you?
morning, sir. I'm doing well. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. Thank you for asking. Mr. Glaub, this is a rehearing for you. I saw you last time,
Yes, sir.
and it was on October 20th, 2022, about 11 months ago.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you got denied by a vote of 3-0. And the reasons I denied you was because of your prior criminal history. You're a fourth felony offender, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you had a terrible supervision history, law enforcement opposition, and you had a high risk assessment score. And the last reason was you needed additional programs. So tell me about the programs that you've completed the last 11 months.
Since the last time that we met, I've taken anger management and risk management. Some of the important things that I've learned in anger management is to stop and actually think before I act on negative emotions and feelings. And some of the most important things that I've learned in risk management is that my risk factors are no different than any other drug or alcohol user. My primary risk factors are immediate gratification and poor impulse control. I just flat out didn't think things through.
Okay, the second course you took was Louisiana Risk Management. That's the drug abuse program, right?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Tell me about the three most important things that you learned in risk management.
And so only three?
Go ahead.
Okay. I think basically all the classes tie in together. But learning how to change my thinking process and learning how to address risk factors, how to stay away from risk factors, how to prevent things from happening. Ultimately I have control over my mind, and that's what comes to it.
Did you come across in anger management when somebody says no, it means no?
Yes. I've come across a lot of stuff.
What I'm saying is you continuously communicate with your ex-wife after she says no, no, no. So why is that?
I'll never stop loving her. But I mean, I've had to give up on it. So I never.
Well, I read a letter that you sent to her. It doesn't sound like you gave up on it.
Yeah, but I don't think I have much of a choice now. So, I mean, it's not something that I want to do. It's not something that's in my heart because I love her. She's the mother of my child.
Okay. So you've given up on it. She blocked the telephone and you start sending letters.
Yes, sir.
So any other programs that you completed?
I've completed I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I completed a cognitive behavioral thinking class pertaining to employment. learning how to maintain employment without jumping from job to job, learning how it affects not only me, but the people around me, my family.
How about your write-ups? How many write-ups have you had during this incarceration?
I don't have a disciplinary problem whatsoever.
Well, you've been incarcerated for 7.5 years and you have no disciplinary issues at all.
That's correct.
Good. Outstanding. Let's talk about your transition plan. If you were released today, where would you live and where would you work?
I will temporarily live with my parents until I'm accepted into a Oxford house or sober living house. My main reasoning for that is to maintain structure. This way here, I'll have structure in my life, and it'll help me to comply with my parole. With my previous sales experience, I plan on seeking another sales position with the help of Louisiana Workforce. Some of my short-term goals are to pay my supervision fees on time, meet with my parole officer regularly, renew my driver's license, start to gain my family's trust back. Some of my long-term goals include visiting my brothers, maintaining my family's trust, volunteering my time to the church. So I have a detailed plan in place, sir.
You really prepared for this hearing, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
I just want to inform you that you have opposition from the DA's office. Says that he's opposed to your early release and you are a fourth felony offender and you habitually violate your supervision. The sheriff of St. Tammany Parish is opposed, and the sheriff of Tangible Parish is opposed. Unfortunately, your family is opposed to your release also. Your mother is unopposed, but the rest of the members of your family is opposed to your early release. Why is that?
I was unaware of that, sir. And I can empathize and understand where my family's coming from. I don't have a good history. I've let my family down multiple times. But I don't have any more chances, to be honest with you, sir. And frankly, I'm sick and tired of.
Let me read what one member of your family said. He advises that he will contact his ex-wife, Kelly Glaub, to express and he's concerned about our safety and the safety of your child. Does that sound familiar?
No, sir. This is the first time I've heard of this. I mean, I talk to my family once a month, and I've never heard my mother, my father, or any. I don't speak to any of my other family.
Okay.
So I'm kind of caught off guard right now, sir.
Okay. Let's go over your rap sheet. You've been arrested 28 times. Did you know that?
No, sir.
And you've been convicted of at least 4 or 5 felonies. Your arrest record started in 1996. Unauthorized use of a vehicle, which is a felony. You were convicted in 1996. Theft of property, worthless checks, felony theft, worthless checks in 1998, theft in 1999, unauthorized use of a vehicle, 1999, worthless checks in 201, attempted theft by fraud, 201, and it goes on and on. So, how long have you been a drug addict?
I've never done drugs, sir. I've never messed with drugs at all. I've never smoked a cigarette. But I'd like to reiterate, my problem is no different than anybody's, with a drug or alcohol problem.
Okay. Are you alcoholic?
No, sir.
You don't drink?
No, sir.
You don't use drugs?
No, sir.
And why are the financial crimes that you committed with worthless checks and theft?
Pure selfishness, sir. Not having the right tools, not having the ability to think properly, not understanding how to think and how to combat my negative ways of thinking.
You have an addiction to money?
Yes,
You like things that you can't afford?
yes.
How about the hit and run felony that you were convicted of? It was dismissed, but what was that concerning? The hit and run charge?
Pure stupidity. I knew that I believe I had a warrant, an open warrant, and I was scared that I was going to get picked up, and so I fled the scene like an idiot.
Domestic abuse battery in 2020.
Yes, sir.
What was that about?
It all goes back to not thinking, sir. Just poor thinking, poor impulse control.
Then you were right back with domestic abuse battery, a felony in 2021.
Yes, sir.
And you got it, and it was amended to misdemeanor domestic abuse battery. Who was the victim in both cases?
My ex-wife.
Kelly Cloud.
Yes, sir.
And you wonder why she's afraid of you.
I can understand.
But according to the letters that you wrote, Kelly, you said that everything's fine now, and
No.
you're looking forward to coming home.
I'm looking forward to coming home, sir. But I know in my mind that everything's not perfectly fine. But in my heart, I felt if I was writing her nice, peaceful letters, that just maybe down the road, not right away, but down the road, we could possibly mend things together, for my son's sake. I don't have a line of communication with her, so it's kind of hard to get her point of view or her perspective on things. I haven't spoken to her in over a year.
Could you be telling me something that I wanted to hear?
No, that's from the heart, sir.
Okay. So you were revoked in 2021. You were revoked in 2016. You were revoked in 2004. And you were revoked in 2003.
Yes, sir.
You've been revoked on 4 different occasions. And you're asking me today to place you on supervision again.
Right. Allowing me or me going to a sober living house or an Oxford house I think will give me the structure that I need, not only, to make the right decisions, but to stay compliant with my parole. And, I intend on attending church meetings and actually finding out from the church how I can volunteer my time and give back to the community instead of just keep taking away from the community. So I've got a plan in place.
And you have a good time date in 2030, which is about 7 years away. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Madam Chairman, I'm complete with my
Sir, you was in the LSP reentry program in 2017. Did you complete that program?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
You graduated from it?
Yes, ma'am. In January 2000.
Go ahead.
For 2 years. I got there in 2017. I graduated in January of 2019.
January of 2019. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
that wasn't clear. You got 16 years of education.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me
14
about
years.
it. Oh, it should be 14. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me about your education past high school.
I have an associate's in computer information systems. I'm also an ASC certified in collision repair. I've got previous sales experience, management experience.
Your associate degree is from where?
It's from Wyndham Business School in Texas.
It was an online course type thing?
Yes, ma'am.
Gotcha. How many times have you been married and divorced?
5 times.
What age did you first get married?
18.
And your last marriage, how old were you?
42.
How many children do you have total in those 5 marriages?
I have 1.
Okay. What was the longest marriage where y'all were just actually in the same roof and living together? Under the same roof?
3 years.
3 years is about the longest.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, thank you for answering my questions. All I had.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, is the officer Forrest still in the room with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there anything you can tell us about, Mr. Glaub?
Yes, ma'am. He's been here since 3/14/22. And hasn't had any major disciplinary issues. And he's never had a conflict in the dorm. It's always yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am, and he listens. He follows orders, yes, ma'am.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Glaub, is there anything you'd like to say to us before we vote?
Yes, ma'am. Since learning what I've learned in my rehabilitative classes, it's now that I understand fully the negative impact that my crimes have had, not only on my family, but my community. I have an enormous amount of sympathy for the people that I've hurt in my life, including my family, and my community. I understand that the world doesn't revolve around me. And I know, I'm extremely determined to make a change in my life because I know I don't have any other chances.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you've come to that realization.
Yes, ma'am.
I think we're ready to vote, Mr. Roche.
Mr. Glaub, based on your extensive criminal history, a terrible supervision history of violence, the DA's office is opposed, the victim is opposed, you have a high risk assessment. My vote is to deny your request.
Mrs. Wise.
Mr. William, I was glad to hear how what you had to say today. I do want you to know I believe you. I believe when you get out this time, you're going to stay out. For me today, I'm just not willing to take a chance on you at this time. And my vote is to deny as well for the reasons stated, but continue on the path that you're on. Don't let this change anything that you're doing. Best wishes to you.
And Mr. Glaub, I do concur with my colleagues. I'm just based on your revocation history. I'm just not willing to take a chance today. So my vote today is to deny. So today, sorry, your parole's been denied. Good luck to you.
All right, thank you.